Bamba-san had a question. So let's let her start with her question.
It was from part D.
Okay.
You can't use Thai form when you're using the nde. I looked at it and I wanted to use because I wanted to say I want to do something, but you can't use the nde with it. So
what we found out was it basically just conjugates like an e adjective, so it's like tai-ndes.
Tai-ndes, yeah. So you can, yeah. So like if you wanted to say I wanted to go, I want to go would be ikitai-ndes. Ikitakatta-ndes would be I wanted to go, using the indes structure. Okay, so you can do it. Okay. So
is this though it's throwing me off when to use it and when not to use it?
Okay.
And it's is it you use it when you want a response?
It's not so much about whether or not you want a response, it's whether or not you feel like the other person is wondering why. And so you're giving them the explanation versus you're just making a plain statement.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's say you're just kind of griping about the fact that the bus was late. バスが遅かったです. Yeah, it was late. But if you're using it as an explanation, you're rushing in 20 minutes after you were supposed to have met the person for something, then you would use the indes structure to say that the bus was late and that's why I wasn't here on time.
So it's a little more sincere? Or
I don't know if sincere is the right word. The other one is still true, but you're not using it as a reason for anything, you're just making a statement. The indes is more about, I'm not just telling you this to give you facts, I'm telling you this as an explanation for why something else happened or didn't happen that you may have been expecting to be different. So, so for example, somebody asks you, hey, how's your Japanese class doing? And you want to just tell them, hey, Japanese is difficult. 日本語は難しいですよ. If, on the other hand, somebody's asking you, hey, how come you only got a 50 on your exam? 日本語が難しいんですよ. Because it's difficult. So give me a break already. So it's kind of, one is just stating a fact. The other one is saying, this is true, therefore, or this is true and that's why something else. So does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just confusing because we don't have an equivalent to that, right? That's just tone.
Right.
It's more of a.
We don't really have an equivalent.
It's just kind of like a.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, we don't have an exact equivalent to this indes structure in English.
It's kind of because we don't use yo and ne, those are just spoken tone indicators.
So yeah, I guess in English the equivalent would be more done with tone of voice.
Ne.
So if you're, if you're saying, I don't like natto, just as a fact, natto ga suki janai desu. If your friend is all excited, yay, look, they've got natto available, and he buys 2 of them and gives you 1, and now you're feeling guilty because you didn't want him to buy you 1. Natto ga suki janai desu. And that's why I'm trying to push away what you just bought me in kindness, you know, your friend bought it to be generous, thinking that you would be as thrilled as he was, and instead you're totally grossed out by it, you know, so you're giving an explanation for why you don't even want to take it from him, you know.
Gotcha, instead of just saying that I don't like like
Right.
it. Okay.
So, you know, so it softens it a little bit, because if you just say, natto ga suki janai desu, that's kind of, it comes across as a little bit rude.
Yeah.
That here he is, he just bought you something as a gift, he was trying to be nice, and you're saying, I don't like natto, you know?
Yeah.
But if you use natto ga suki janai desu, it's more like, oh, sorry, I wish you hadn't bought that for me, I don't like that very much, you know, so it's that kind of a tone.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, in English we would have to add a whole lot of other words to get that across, you know, and our intonation would change, right? In Japanese you can do the whole thing with just that ndes in place of the normal ending.
I actually have a question about sugiru.
Hi.
Like if you like how you were saying about the test earlier and how Japanese is hard and all that. In that same situation, could you use sugiru to say like you didn't study enough? If you use like a different form of it, I guess.
It doesn't really work with negatives. It
Okay.
works with positives. So like, asobi sugita would be I played too much. You know, you're telling somebody why you flunked a test. You're saying, you know, I should have studied, but instead I played too much.
Oh, okay.
And that would be an explanation for why you flunked.
Okay.
You know, that kind of thing. So you can't really use sugiru on a negative conjugation. It just doesn't work. But when you have to, so if you're wanting to say that you didn't do enough of something else, something or other, the way to structure that in Japanese would be to say that you did too much of whatever the opposite of that is. So like, nesugita, I slept too much. And that's why I'm late, because I slept in, you know.
Is there no way to say it, like you didn't do enough of something?
There is a way to say it, but it's a completely different grammar structure.
Oh, we don't know yet.
Yeah, we haven't learned it yet.
Okay.
So that's the thing with Japanese. You can't just sort of improvise and stick this on anything you feel like sticking it on. It works where it works, and it doesn't work where it doesn't work.
Okay.
You know. Okay. So, other questions about any of the grammar points in particular, or should we just go into some practice and see how far it gets us? We ready to try practicing some stuff?
Hi.
Okay, how do you want to go about it? Do you want to start with some of the stuff that is actually available on the CD, or do you want to skip to the ones that are not on the CD?
I'm kind of cool with doing a few of these, just like to.
Okay.
Because the English translation, like I think that would help me out of like what, because I don't know
Okay.
what they're trying to say. Like I can put it into the index form, but like.
But you don't know what the
What
heck
that's-
they're doing
yeah,
with
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay,
Like what that means.
so we can start with A and see if it helps you get a feel for it.
Yeah. And so they
Okay.
use Doshtan Deska as well. Can you use Doshten Deska? Or is that?
No.
No.
It has to be short form.
Yeah, it has to be, doshita desu ka? Doshita.
Or do you just say Doshte
Yeah.
instead?
Doshite desu ka would be why,
Mm-hmm.
but doshita desu ka is more like, what happened, past tense.
Gotcha.
It's like do
And-
desu ka
Yeah,
versus
do
doshi
desu,
desu ka.
yeah, and well, if you wanted to put it into present tense, it would be like, do surun desu ka? So what are you going to do? But that's more in the vein of, do surun desu ka is like,
Oh.
you're upset about
I've
something.
heard that a million times.
Yeah,
Do
you're
desu
upset
desu
about
ka.
something, and somebody's like, well, what are you gonna do about it? Do surun desu ka? What's your plan here? You're having a temper tantrum over the fact that so-and-so did such and such, now what? You know?
Yeah, I definitely
So-
didn't realize that was dosuru and doresa was just the
Okay.
same form.
Dosuru,
So
and
doshitan
so that
is
doshitan desu ka is like, what happened?
Gotcha. That's
tense.
just the form of okay.
Okay, and then 頭が痛いんです. My head hurts. Okay. So, shall we just kind of go down the line?
Sure.
1番どうぞ.
Would I ask that question?
Yeah, so you're just going to ask どうしたんですか? And then Damon's going to answer.
どうしたんですか?
プレゼントをもらったんです。
Okay, you skipped number 1, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah, I did. Okay. For some reason, I thought she had number 1, so that was,
Yeah.
I was number 2. Okay. Yeah. 彼から電話があったんです。
Say again. ありました What's the short form?
あったん。
はい、あ
あ
ったんです。
ったんです。
そう、彼から電話があったんです。
So
Or
you-
if you wanted to change that 彼女から電話があったんです。You know,
デイモンさん、
Yeah.
何人と好きですか
So that's what I say. It's like that's
Yeah.
what happened. Okay.
Yeah,
You're just
so-
asking what happened
yeah,
to them.
Yeah, so somebody's like, what happened? And you're, you know, so in the case of Ichiban, it's like from, you know, she got a phone call from her boyfriend, so that's why she's all sort of blissed out, lovey-dovey, you know, because she's just so happy that she got a call from her boyfriend, you know, so it's like, you know, that's why she's looking like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so basically, どうしたんですか is going to be a question you ask when you see somebody with a particular expression on their face that's not their usual expression. So like either they're grinning ear to ear, or they're looking really sad, or they're looking really tired, or they're looking sick, or they're bouncing around, whatever it is, they're not acting normal. So you're asking, hey, what's wrong? What's up? What happened? You know, どうしたんですか? So what happened is the closest English equivalent, I think, because it doesn't have a negative or positive connotation to the question. The answer is what gives you the clue. Whether it's a どうしたの? どうしたんですか?
Dosa is basically like just what's up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
どうしましたか?
どうしました
Well, it's like literally, what did you do? What happened to you? Okay.
はい
Right. じゃあどうぞ、デーモンさん、you get to ask the question now.
どうしたんですか?
プレゼントをもらったんです。
はい。プレゼントをもらったんです。So that's why you're looking happy.
I got a nice little necklace.
はい。
ジョーさん、どうしたんですか
明日は休みたんです。
Ah, it's going to be future tense here.
明日 tomorrow. So
So 明日は、yasumi is a noun plus des, right? So what's the structure when it's a noun plus des and it's future tense?
なんです。
はい。明日は休みなんです。
休みなんです。
Okay, so that's why you're looking so happy and relaxed. Make sense? Okay, じゃあどうぞ。
南波さん。昨日は誕生日です。
No, that's going to be her answer. You're asking her どうしたんで
どうし
すか?
たんですか。
昨日は誕生日、
Is this a confusing one for deshta? You need to look back at what the rules say about how to convert it. So, looking for, where does it even say? So,
It doesn't actually mention it. Would it be like non-deshta?
Okay. Ah,
Because I'm not
okay.
actually quite sure on how to
Okay, so what's the short form of deshita?
Da or datta.
Datta.
So non dat.
No, 昨日は誕生日だったんです。
Oh.
Dattan?
だったんです。
That changes everything.
Yeah, isn't that weird? So, yeah. 誕生日だったんです。
That's like the same way as kata does it, but
Yeah, だったんです。
You wouldn't do the past short form for like tanjobi, like we did with the yasumi, but
Well, tanjobi is the noun, right?
Mhm.
Yasumi desu, the noun plus desu.
Mhm.
Tanjobi deshita, it's past tense, right? So
Yeah.
the reason they're different is because one's future tense
oh,
and one's
so
past tense.
the past tense for tanjobi is tanjobi datta. Okay.
Yeah,
so
tanjobi
that has
datta.
to be attached to the noun.
Dattan desu. Okay.
はい、そう、誕生日だったんです。versus 休みです。休みなんです。
Datta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so future tense and past tense work a little differently with des. Okay. だったんです versus なんです。Okay. じゃあ5番。Go ahead and ask the Amazon.
どうしたんですか？
テストが難しくなかったんです。
はい。難しくなかったんです。So you're walking around happy and whistling because it wasn't hard. So you feel good about it. Right? Does that make sense now?
Yeah, it's yeah.
どうぞ。
どうしたんですか？
喉が痛いんです。
はい。So you're in pain. That's why you look that way. どうぞ。
どうしたんですか？
風邪をひいたんです。
はい、引いたんです。はい。どうぞ。
どうしたんですか。
切符をなく
How do you conjugate? なくしました comes from なくします. Work it backwards. なくす. Okay, so what's the te form? なくして. So なくした for the past tense. Okay, なくした. So なくしたんです. Yeah. Does that make sense? Okay, so 切符を say it again.
なくしたんです。
はい、切符をなくしたんです. That's why you're like searching all your pockets in a panic, right? That's what that picture is supposed to be, right? He's looking unhappy and he's searching in all his pockets because the way subways and trains in Japan work most of the time is you pay your fare, you know, like buy a ticket to pay your fare. You put the little ticket through the little machine as you enter the turnstile, and you pull it out again at the other end of the turnstile, and it's got a little hole punch in it, and you hold on to it, and then to get out of the train station, you put it in the machine again before going through the exit turnstile.
What if you lose it?
You have to pay again,
Oh.
because you don't have proof that you paid your ticket fare. You
Okay.
could have jumped the turnstile.
What if you dropped it on the other side of the turnstile? Jump back.
If you, yeah.
Jump back.
That's
If-
not like it was when I went to New York. It was like basically the same thing, but we
Yeah.
didn't have to put it in again when we left the subway.
Yeah, they have you put it back in again as you're leaving, because that allows them to verify that you actually paid the right amount. And if you put it in and the turnstile won't open again, that means you underpaid. And it'll spit your ticket back out at you, but you'll have to go to the ticket window and talk to a human who can figure out how much you owe and you have to pay before you can get out. So they get you at both ends. You have to pay at the beginning, but then if you accidentally pay for the wrong stop, or if you change your mind midway and decide to get out someplace else, you're going to have to pay the difference if you ended up going someplace that's, you know, more expensive to get to.
What if you went somewhere that was cheaper though?
I don't think you get a refund. So,
So just make sure you know what you're doing. And
Right.
Get on that.
yeah. And then if you have a regular commute, you can get a deal where you actually have like a monthly pass or something that is good for your normal route. And you can get on and off anywhere that's an intermediate stop within your normal route on that pass. And you've got, you know, usually I think it's infinite usage of that pass within that route for that time period that you paid for. So if it's good for the whole month of October, say, and then, you know, if there's a place that's halfway between home and work that you like to go and hang out after work, you can stop there on your way home without paying extra, because you can use your pass to get to that intermediate spot and then get back on the train and go home the rest of the way.
Definitely sounds worth it.
Yeah. So anybody who's got a regular commute usually gets one of those passes, and then they're not paying every day. Okay? So anyway, so that's an important little culture note, though. If you're going to be traveling by public transit in Japan, do not lose your tickets when you're on the train. Put it in a safe spot.
What happens if you actually lose it?
You really do have to pay again, which if it was a 290 yen ticket to begin with isn't such a big deal, but if it was a Shinkansen ticket, ouch. The Shinkansen costs about as much as a plane flight.
That's why it's so upset. Poor guy.
Whoa, really?
Seriously.
That's crazy. How far do they go?
The
Like-
whole country.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
you can get Shinkansen from practically one end of the country to the other.
Kipu wo nakushinai de.
Hi. Okay, どうぞ. Okay, whose turn is it to ask?
I think it's mine.
Hi.
Or it's your turn to ask.
No, okay, yeah.
So you just do the
なんかしたんです。
ticket one.
はい。
どうしたんですか？
明日テストがあるんです。
はい。Therefore you're walking around studying all day long. どうぞ。
どうしたんですか？
あ、席が出たんです。
Okay, that would be past tense, but
Oh.
出ます is present tense, so
ちょっと
出ます
出ます
changes to is it a verb or a do verb?
Is it rude?
Yeah, so 出ます you drop the mas, you add
I'm completely lost.
ru back on.
Oh,
出
出るんです。出るん
はい
です。
はい
Okay.
so 咳が出るんです
Oh.
so 咳が出る means he's
I
coughing.
actually forgot how to conjugate that.
Yeah. 咳が出
すみ
るんです
ません。
はい
あー、ジョーさんどうしたんですか？
彼女と別れ、
別れる
別れる。
So that would be the present tense, but what's the past tense of 別れる?
別れたんです。
はい、別れたんです. There you go.
I'm gonna try to sound more choked up about it.
残念ですね。
残念。
大変ですね。はい。彼女と別れたんです。はい。
どうしたんですか？
お手洗いに行きたいんです。
行きたいんです。
行きたいんです。
はい。It all just kind of smooths together. 行きたいんです。はい。Looks like my son. Yeah, that's not usually something you see adults doing. They, you know.
He just like a young kid.
Yeah. Little kids always seem to do that. They're so busy playing that they wait till the last possible second.
Mm.
Okay, so do you guys want to do B also, or are you ready to skip to C?
I'm down for some B.
Okay, どうぞ.
Who, me?
I think it's Damon's turn, right?
Should I just say what he said, or just do the?
Respond to the comments, so like,
Naming comments, I answer.
okay, yeah, so we can do that.
素敵な車ですね。
父のなんです。
はい。どうぞ。
きれいな花ですね。
友達に
はい。
もらったんです。
はい、そうですね。どうぞ。
新しい靴ですね。
イタリア。
How can you say?
Tandas?
Italia, what's going to come before the non des? Italia, what's that ones indicating? Italian ones.
Kutsu?
Okay,
No.
Italia, no. You could say Italia no kutsu non des, but that would be like Italian shoes, but they're saying Italian ones, so Italia no non des. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, because it kind of.
Oh, because they already said shoot. They said kutsu.
Yeah, because 新しい靴ですね。はい、イタリアのなんです。Yeah, so they're Italian ones. はい、どうぞ。
かわいい服ですね。
山田さん。
I'm doing some gender bending today.
Cute stuff.
作ったんです。
はい、作ったんです。
作ったんです。
そうですね。
はいはいはい。
Like the phrase.
We're really forgetting guys now.
作ったんですね。どうぞ。
いいカバンですね。
安かったんです。
はい、安かったんですね。
お、
Kind of pretty.
かっこいい彼ですね。
優し
はい
いです。
優しいんです。はい、
優しいです
優しいんです。
かっこいい。
Things are getting more and more liberal, right? So, pair work. So, see if you can make up a comment about something that the other person has.
はい。
Would backpack was still cop on for bag.
Yeah, you can use kaban for now. They use other words too. Sometimes they do say bakupaku or
Handlebar.
rukusaku.
Oh, what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Uh, すごいカバンですね。
ありがとう。
How can you use the ndes in a reply though? すごい我慢ですね。You could say, for example, I like it like this, or it was a gift, or I got it from so and so, or it's old, or it was cheap, or whatever.
Furui tandesu.
Furui, You just
Furui,
add the
desu.
directly to the e adjective. So furuin desu. Right, furuin desu. So that's a good modest Japanese answer. If somebody compliments you on something and you say, oh, it's old. Dozo. See what you can come up with.
You comment on his dress.
可愛いですね。
or cool T-shirt, or whatever.
あなたの T シャツが好きです。
はい
新しいんです。
はい、いいですね。
Is it actually?
Yeah.
It looks like it.
Yeah, no, no.
Yeah.
Still see the
Not like
crease.
yesterday. Oh yeah.
いや、
Mhm.
新しいんです。
新しいんです。
はい、はい、かっこいいですね。
な
はい、どうぞ。
あー
Hit me with your best shot.
素敵な亀ですね。
Kame?
紙ですね。
Oh.
紙。
素敵な。
Oh.
紙ですね。
What do you mean this?
That case, that's a little bit of a strange choice.
It's like this whole thing.
I would say, for example, if you're trying to be Japanese style modest and deny the compliment, you could say something like "kitanai desu." It's messy.
Oh.
You know.
Oh, kitanai.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember this.
Oh, yeah.
Joe-san wa gita o hiki no ga jouzu desu.
弾くのが。
弾くのが上手です。ですよね。
練習したんです。
はい。Okay, yeah.
たくさん。
たくさん練習したんです。Yeah, practiced a lot.
That was like the one example we made up in the lab.
Okay. たくさん練習したんです。はい。Okay, so should we try D?
Sure.
Okay. Let's go ahead and start with the example. Let Joe and Amber read the example for us.
先週東京に行きました。
どうして東京に行ったんですか？
母がアメリカから来たんです。
Right. So does everybody get how they're working it? So they're giving you the statement, you're turning that into Japanese, and then the next person is asking why. Why did you do that? And then you're giving an explanation. So in this case, why'd you go to Tokyo last week? Because my mom came from the States to visit, presumably. いいですか？
はい。
じゃあどうぞ、1番。
私はとっても疲れ
疲れています。
ています。
疲れたんです。いや、疲れています。or 疲れたんです。
What's the difference? So one's I was tired and one's I
疲れてい
am
ます
in the
is
state of being tired.
I'm tired now. Yeah, I'm very tired. 疲れたんです would be like, it's that I'm tired.
What's
Okay.
the difference between nemui and tsukareta? Or tsukare?
Sleepy versus tired.
Okay.
Yeah, nemui is more like sleepy. 疲れた is tired. And teiru is a common structure. 疲れています. Because if you're tired, it's a state of being. So even like, you hear it in the simple past tense a lot, like you've gotten tired, and you hear it in the teiru form a lot, that you are tired. You don't normally hear it in other structures, even past tense, like I was tired yesterday, 疲れていました
I hear
would be
tsukareta
more.
a lot.
Yeah, 疲れた is very common. 疲れた
Yeah.
I'm
That,
tired.
exactly like that too.
Yeah, and then 疲れている or 疲れています is also possible. Okay, but you don't usually hear it in the future tense too often because it's not the kind of thing you usually predict.
Yeah.
It's usually something that you talk about as having happened already, not something that you're predicting for the future that, oh yeah, I'm planning to be tired tomorrow,
Gonna go
that's not very
shopping.
common.
We could be planning to do takusan undosu or something.
Yeah, and so then there are structures that you could use with that Yeah, like I will probably be tired.
でしょ
疲れるでしょう。Yeah.
あ
とても疲れるでしょう。But you don't hear that nearly as often as the past tense forms or the Teiru forms. Right. So she said とても疲れた。疲れたんです。Okay.
どうしたんですか？
Or どうして疲れたんですか？
どうして疲れたんですか？
よく寝たんです。
よく寝なかったんです。I didn't sleep well. よく寝る、寝ない、寝なかった、寝なかったんです。I did not sleep well. Make sense? よく寝なかったんです。はい、じゃあどうぞ。
私はお金を全然持っていません。
Okay, that works.
どうしてお金が持っていないんです。
は
パーティーに行く過ぎました。
パーティーに行き過ぎました。
Oh, it's them. 行き過ぎました。
はい、行き過ぎ
まし
or 行き過ぎたんです。Because they want you to use the reason form.
過ぎり。
So, 行き過ぎたんです。行き過ぎた。行き過ぎたんです。
言い過ぎたんです。
行き過ぎたんです。パーティーに行き過ぎたんです。Went to too many parties, spent all your money. いいですか？はい、どうぞ。
今日は都合が悪いです。
はい。
どうした
どうして都合が悪いんですか？いや、どうして都合が悪いんですか？ Why isn't it convenient?
私はたくさんゲームをCan I say したつもりです？
するつもりなんです。
するつもりなんです。
はい。
はい。That's why.
Planning to play lots of games, so you can't do whatever it was Joe was suggesting. Some friends you are, huh?
ジョさんはちょっと。
どうぞ。
No, girlfriend yet, but married was
ああ、結婚する。結婚する。
そう彼女を結婚し
Actually, 彼女と。
that makes sense. 彼女と結婚したいんです。
いや、結婚したいんです。
どうして
I think it's supposed to be Amber's turn to ask, right?
I just thought it was
どうしてあなたの彼女と結婚したんですか？
したいんですか？したいん because it says want to. He hasn't done it yet, but he says he wants to.
What kindです？
What kind ですか？ Because she's young?
No. What is what kind of design? What kind of mindset?
You say you like her.
That
Oh,
Yeah.
kirei.
Kirei.
Kirei nan.
So, kirei, nan, yeah, nan.
Yeah.
I forgot about the adjectives.
Yeah.
頭がいい。
Yeah, 頭がいいんです。綺麗なんです。Or you could link
かわい
them.
い。
Yeah.
Oh,
綺麗で頭がいいんですから。Yeah, or
わかります。
or 頭が良くて好きなんです。
甘い、sweet。
Yeah, 可愛い。Good one. Yeah.
Is that alright?
Is that this
え
chapter?
え。
Oh my goodness.
Didn't use it.
I had no idea.
甘い。
No.
Is that like, is that taste or is that also like person?
Both.
Oh, I like.
Yeah. Yeah. 砂糖が甘いです。
甘い。
Yeah, the sugar is sweet, but you can also say 彼女は甘いです。You know, she is sweet.
素敵。
Sticky. Oh,
Sticky, yeah, sticky
that's a
is,
pretty general one too, isn't it?
yeah, that's a very commonly used one that can, a lot of times when it applies to a person, it's usually about looks. It's like, good looking, pretty. But if it's about something other than a human, if it's about, you know, some cool thing you just bought, it's kind of like cool.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
Sticky.
Yeah. It's like a general explanation or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something happens sticky.
Yeah, sticky. Okay, いいですか？どうぞ。
The way I worded this was terrible, so I apologize. 勉強するを日本に行きます。
Okay, let's review how to put that structure together. So, I'm going to Japan for the purpose of studying 日本に right, to Japan, 勉強しに行きます。日本に勉強しに行きます。That's the structure.
Oh, that's another
for-
stem, right?
Yeah,
Stem.
しに行きます. For the purpose of doing the stem plus に行く. Okay, so 勉強しに行く is going for the purpose of studying. Going where? To Japan. So 日本に勉強しに行きます. Make sense?
はい。
Right, that was from, I forget which chapter, 10
Seven.
maybe?
7. Pretty sure it's 7.
7? Okay, way back there.
Yeah.
That's my chapter.
Yeah. So 勉強しに行きます. はい、日本に勉強しに行きます. はい。
So, どうして日本に勉強しに行くんですか？
はい
I don't know if you can do this, but I tried it.
Was that right? Iku
Yeah.
desu ka?
はい、行くんですか？
I didn't know
はい
that.。
もっとよく、
Oh.
will that work?
はい、もっとよく、
日本語を話したいんです。
はい、もっとよく日本語を話したいんです。That works. Right. Well, she wants to speak better Japanese. はい、どうぞ。次。
Do we know he? Like, just to say that pronoun?
Kare.
彼
Kare works?
works as a pronoun for he, but a lot of times it just gets omitted.
Just,
Yeah.
So, and it say very well, do you, totomo for that
Jozu.
sentence structure? So, totomo chugakugo,
中国語。
chugokugo ga jozu desu.
I would change that around a little bit. He speaks Chinese very well. Would be 日本語が
Or Chugo.
Chugoku ga,
sorry 中
chugoku
国語
go ga totomo.
はい中
上手です
国語がとても上手です中国語がとても上手で
Does
す
that imply that he's speaking, or do you don't need to add
Yeah,
hanashi?
it means he's good at Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go.
中国語を話すのが
Yeah.
とても上手
He
で
speaks
す
it.
would be
That's
more
what I was-
specific.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, 中国語を話すのがとても上手です would be more
Okay.
more accurate.
Gotcha.
あ、
はい
どうして中国語が上手なんですか？
There you go.
勉強するんです。
Ah, hi. You could say たくさん勉
たくさん
強するんです。
たくさん
He studies it a lot.
Yeah.
When in doubt, Taku-san.
はい。
Lives in
Sounds
China.
like it.
Hey.
たくさん
Say
勉
that.
強する。
Okay, yeah, that would be another option.
He lives in China.
はい、中国に住んでいるんですから。
いるんだ。
Yeah,
住んで
住んでいます。住んでいるんです。or 中国人なんです。Yeah. Yeah, there could be a multitude of reasons why someone's good at something, right? はい、いいですよ。どうぞ。
その映画を見ないです。
I don't want to watch would be
見たいない
見
見たいなくなかった
見たく
見た
ない
くない見たくない
はい
はい
見たくないですね。
どうして映画を見たくない
見たくない
見たくないんです。
はい見たくないんですか。
です
どうして見たくないんですか。
Okay, let's try and do this. Alright.
はい
怖くnot wait, could be I'm trying to make it in past tense but I can't. So it's like 怖いんです。
怖いんです would be it's scary. Okay. If you've
I was-
seen it before and you don't want to watch it again because you know it's scary, it was scary.
I was
then
gonna say I think it's scary. So 怖い how do I add と思います to that?
怖いと思うんです。
怖いと思うんです。
思う。
Okay.
Okay. 怖いと思うんです。
怖いと思うんです。
はい。いいですね。
いい。
質問がありますか? Does everybody feel like they've got a better handle on the んです now?
Yes. Yeah.
And the trickiest part of it, once you get the concept, the trickiest part is just remembering
Conjugation.
the conjugations,
Yeah.
right? Because there are so many different variants that we can work with now
Yeah.
between the verbs and the adjectives and all the different forms. You just kind of have to keep straight which one you actually want. This is why that that concept that I introduced a while back, that you ought to start a sort of reference sheet for yourself, keeping track of what structures require what Japanese structures. Like if you want to say, I want to, what structure do you have to use?
I actually started doing
Stem
something like
plus
that.
tai, right?
Yeah.
Ikitai, shitai, right? If you wanted to say, he likes to do X, suru no ga suki, right? So it's probably a good idea to start like making yourself some sort of a reference sheet where you can keep track of what all these different structures are and how they work, because it's not just a few things anymore. It's not just te form and dictionary form. You've got te form, you've got dictionary form, you've got short form past. You've got some structures that, depending on whether you want to do past tense or present tense, you can do short form past or short form present. And other forms have to be short form past. You can't do anything else. You know, there are all these different things. So it's probably a good idea to kind of go back through the whole book and figure out some way of organizing for yourself how to put the different grammar structures together. So for myself personally, I find that it's good to group like all the things that require te form. Make that a category and give yourself like a quick definition of what it means and an example of how it works for each of those meanings, right? So, てください。てもいいです。てはいけません。てもいいですか? You know, all of those structures, you know, 食べて寝ました that kind of stuff, all of those different structures that take te form, right? There's a zillion of them. We've learned less than a dozen so far, but there's lots more to come.
Yeah.
And the same thing with like STEM. We've learned a few different things you can do with STEM, but there are going to be more. We've learned a few different things we can do with short forms. Either present tense only or past tense only, or either or depending on what you mean. Again, there's going to be more. So if you start now and sort of categorize, okay, things that take te form, things that take STEM form, things that take dictionary form only, things that take short form past only, things that can take dictionary form or short form past, things that take short form negative, there, some things you can do any of the conjugations of the short form, shinai tomo, suru tomo, shita tomo, shinakatta tomo. That takes any of the four, right? But not everything takes all four.
That's actually another reason why I think it's mutually beneficial that we work so closely with like the other
Mhm.
class, because
Yeah.
we can help them out and we brush up on what we
Yes,
have done
it's
as well.
very good to keep brushing up on past material, especially anything from around lesson 6 or 7 onwards, because that's when it started getting complicated.
Yeah, and that's where the
Right.
analysis is.
As literally tape form.
Yeah.
Another thing about like what you're saying about all the structures and everything, I was actually looking into like the JLPT and things, and
Mhm.
this book actually, it just covers specific everything on the JLPT in 5.
Ah,
Yeah.
that may be why they structured this textbook the way they did.
Yeah, it's every structure, no more, no less.
Yeah, okay. Now that answers a question. I've always wondered how they picked what to put in this book and what to leave for the next book. Now we know. It's JLPT 5 exactly.
Yeah.
Probably the vocabulary and kanji they chose are also based off of that test.
Yeah.
That would be my guess based on what you just said. So, and then probably book 2 is JPLT 4
Probably.
content. And then there is a series by the same publisher, not necessarily the same authors, called Intermediate Japanese, and I believe it does kind of take it to the next level, so that may very well be like JPL 3 and 2, JPLT 3 and 2 for that set, because I think there's 2 books in that set as well. Okay, so questions about those? Okay, should we look a little bit at tabesugimashita? We've still got a few minutes left.
Yes.
So,
Sure.
okay. But there's another example. STEM, not TED form, not dictionary form, STEM, right? And it matters, right? This is not a like random mix and match kind of game, right? You can't put any old form you feel like it with sugimasu, right? You have to put the stem with it.
Are there like slang forms where they do things like that? Because we do that in English. Like we will purposely mess up the grammar and say things incorrectly, and people will still get our message, but it's not correct, of course.
Slang in Japanese usually doesn't do that with grammar. There are a couple of things that happen with slang. One is pronunciation shifts. So like sugoi is like wow, right? Suge is the slang pronunciation of sugoi.
Okay.
So pronunciation shifts are one of the things that happen a lot with slang. The other thing is that there are dialects that have a completely different conjugation for something.
Don't like Okinawans have like their own special-
Okinawa is practically its own language.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I read.
it really is basically its own language. It's separate.
Actually, that
But
does bring
even
us
like
much-
Osaka Ben, for example, Osaka dialect, wakarimasen, if you shorten it, in standard Tokyo dialect, you say wakaranai, right? Anai is the short form negative, right? In in Osaka Ben, instead of that, Kansai Ben changes it to, instead of nai, they use hen, so it's like wakara hen. And you're like, what? You know, so iwanai for don't say, it doesn't say, or so-and-so doesn't say that. Yuahen. Huh? You know, so if you're not familiar with a particular dialect, it can sound like they're speaking a different language because they have completely different structures for some things. And that gets worked into mainstream slang sometimes. Like, you know, Osaka Ben became very popular some years ago when there was an Osaka Shushin comedian who was really popular on TV. So since he was from Osaka, he did his jokes in Osaka Ben, and all of a sudden Osaka Ben was all the rage, and people who don't actually speak fluent Osaka Ben were throwing little bits of Osaka Ben into their speech in standard Japanese. So it's, rather than being like slang the way we think of it, it's more like if all of a sudden, like, there was a Cajun Creole speaker who was a famous comedian, and so all of a sudden everybody's sticking a few smatterings of Cajun Creole words into their slang speech. Or somebody who, you know, is Jamaican is popular as a comedian, so now everybody's using little bits of Jamaican patois in their speech.
Kind of like how we use skosh, I guess.
Yeah. So it's more like that rather than changing the grammar per se.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And words from English also get into that. So like using the katakana version of something instead of the standard Japanese version for something, that's also a slang thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, telling somebody TV o miru instead of terebi o miru. Terebi is the standard word, but lots of Japanese kids know what TV is. Okay, let's look at tabesugimashita. That segment. So we're using the verb stem plus sugiru and the adjective plus sugiru for 5 through 10. Okay, so whose turn is it? はい、どうぞ。
すりすぎました。
はい。
その部屋はまだ狭すぎました。
はい。Okay, so those were just the examples. Okay, so この部屋は狭すぎる、作りすぎました。はい。Cooked too much food. The room is too small. That's like a very typical Japanese bedroom size, where you can sit on your bed to work at your desk.
Oh, I get it.
Right. Semai is narrow or, you know, tight space. Semasugiru says too crowded, too narrow. いいですか？はい。じゃあ1番どうぞ。She's feeling very full because she ate too much, so that would be
So the title of the section.
yeah, it's the title of the section.
Oh.
Yeah.
食べすぎました。
はい、食べ過ぎました。
食べすぎました。
はい。And if you wanted to say that in casual form, it would be
食べすぎ。
sugiru is a ru verb, so
Sugita.
sugita, yeah, past tense short form sugita. So tabesugita, you'll hear that kind of expression a lot in casual speech too. Ah, tabesugita. Oh. どうぞ。
飲みすぎました。
Hi. And the little like rouge things on his cheeks is because Japanese people usually turn red when they drink too
テレビを見すぎました。
はい。The illustrations for some of these are great. 食べ過ぎました。はい。4番。
かすぎました
か買います。
買います
So what's the stem form?
ですか
買い。
買い
買う。買い。
買いすぎます
はい。買いすぎました。買いすぎました。Yeah,
The
her,
dollars are
yeah, her
flying
little
away.
1万円 bills are flying away. You spent like 2万円or something. はい。Okay, じゃあ5番. It's too big.
うん
Do you remember how it forms for adjectives? If it's an E adjective, what happens?
うん
I don't remember what page they show that to you on, but they do tell you, I'm pretty sure. So either, yeah. So E adjectives, you drop the E, right. And na adjectives, you just drop the na. Okay, so oki, you drop the final E. So what you got is oki sugiru. Oki sugiru.
大きすぎる
はい、そう、大きすぎます。
大きす
はい、大きすぎます。
大変すぎます。
はい、はい、or
難しいすぎ
No,
はい、難しすぎます、or 大変すぎます。Either one works, right?
yeah.
大変すぎます、難しすぎます。はい、7番は
高すぎます。
高すぎます。はい。はい。10万円本当に高すぎます。はい、ジョーさん。
暑すぎます
はい、暑すぎます。50度。That's, yeah, scalding. 40度 is fairly typical in some baths, but it usually doesn't go much beyond that. はい。じゃあ9番。He's got too much 宿題, right? Too much homework.
Oh, okay. 食
So, 宿題 isn't the part that's going to conjugate, because that's the noun, right? So too much would be what?
うんよく
No, that would be too well.
Is that a new
とて
one?
も
Totemo is very.
多い。
Takusan.
Oh, takusan.
Well, takusan sugimasu or o sugimasu, that works better. Oi is like a large amount of something. Oi. So o sugimasu.
Like, oame.
It's this chapter.
Yeah, oi.
Oi.
Oame.
Oame.
I'm not sure if that, actually,
Oh, is
We
that
looked it
I'm
up, it's
not
actually a
rain?
common word for heavy rain.
yeah, but is oame written with the
Oki.
much or oki?
Oki.
They're two different kanji.
This one's written with the two knights, right?
Yeah, o sugiru. That oi, and this is oki. Okay.
Oh.
Oi and oki, they're two
There's a-
entirely different kanji.
there's
This one
actually-
means many, this one means large. But oame, if it's written with this one, it's like big rain,
Yeah.
not a lot of rain.
I've seen it both ways, actually.
Yeah.
It was that
But
one
this,
first.
when this kanji is left to stand alone, as opposed to having the key suffix on it, it can be read two different ways. It can be read o, like that, or it can be read dai.
Yeah.
So like the dai in daisuki is this kanji,
Or
Daigaku.
but in daigaku, but the o in Osaka is also this kanji.
Oh.
Yeah, Osaka is like large slope or something, large hill. So, okay, so osugimasu is going to be that top kanji, the one that means many or a lot of something. Oi. So, yeah, One is talking about a single thing that's big, that's all-key. Oi is talking about many of something. So shukurai ga osugimasu. There's just too much homework. He's got, dozens of books piled up there with all kinds of assignments, right? And those all to do one.
早すぎます
はい、早すぎます。おかしいですね。おかしい。Okay. So, any questions?
If you wanted to say the dog was too fast, would you say inu wa and then
Yeah.
hayasugimasu?
Yeah,
Okay.
inu wa or inu ga hayasugiru. Inu ga hayasugiru. Okay, so does that kind of help everybody?
Yeah, it's just the English is really
Yeah.
That's the hardest one.
Yeah, that
Everything
first
else
one
is, like,
was throwing me off.
relatively simple.
Okay, so sugiru and then nonda hoga ii. Okay, so that's like the giving advice one, right? And then ii tenki no de sanpo shimasu. So that no de structure is very much the same meaning as kara.
But it's just more formal.
It's a little more formal sounding now. And
Okay.
then shinakereba ikemasen. Right.
Lots to say.
Yeah. Shinake ikenai is the more common. Shinake ikemasen. Or shinake ikenai, yeah.
Nakeribai.
Nakereba ikenai is a mouthful, so a lot of people shorten it to nake ikenai.
That's much easier.
Yeah, wait.
I was sitting there in the room, I was saying it like, it's Brooks Corbett.
Okay, so next class we will practice some of those other structures and see how far we get. Okay. Go.